Hello guys, welcome to my Xplane2Blender video showing you some stuff regarding animation in Blender, exporting it to the Xplane OBJ format so that you can use it in your Xplane plane maker, add the object to a plane for example, and then actually take a look at it in the sim. So this tutorial just focuses on Blender, what you have to do in Blender to create your animation and to map it to the Xplane data refs as well. So I will show you how I animate the Eugene bear, as you can see here, with by using two data refs. So I will use some head turning. So assigning this one to the respective data ref for nose tiller, nose steering, and I will use the data ref for G-load, so the G-load for acceleration and braking basically. So I will show you first how to start with that. So as I said, I use the Xplane2Blender plugin, so user preferences, Xplane2Blender. I downloaded the latest version, and you just have to activate it here, save it, and then it's done. So here you can see my my model I'm using. This is Eugene, the bear. So as you can see here in the scene tree, what I have, I already prepared the whole stuff, the whole object already. So it's I did some parenting, of course, right? Parented the arms, the feet, to the body here. So this is done, you know, you just select what you want to parent first. So the child's first with select. So, and then you hit shift select, so shift left mouse button for example, or right mouse button, just depends on what you set in your user preferences, and then you can parent your objects, your primitives first, right? Because I used different primitives to build this model though. See some spheres and whatnot. So that's what I did here. So I have now the, let's say, the main or the body. See, I can separate it from the head. And in addition, I separated the head, of course, from the rest. So what I will do now, and what's actually also described in the Xplane2Blender manual or documentation, I will attach an armature to the head so that I can animate the head for itself, right? So first we need to make sure that we're in object mode. Then we have to check here. Yeah, of course we have to select the head first, right? Check here, apply, rotation and scale. So this is a prerequisite. We need to make sure that rotation and scale is checked. That's done. At least that's what's mentioned in the manual for Xplane2Blender, so that's fine. Then next we're gonna add our armature, single bone. Then we're gonna go here and say X-ray. Then we can actually see better and just size a little. So we go into edit mode, tab for example. Just make that one a bit smaller though. Just for, let's say, cleaning up purposes, let's enable wireframe. So that one a bit nicer here. Make sure that we also have our center aligned as well. That one a little bit center alignment here. I think that should be fine. This armature though. Okay, so that's cool. Quickly check from the side. Are we good here? Yeah, we move it a bit more here. Then we should be aligned on the axis. Okay, so that's good. Go back, texture mode. See, we can still see the bone. Feels good. Now what we need to do also to check here for the bone, for the armature, that we have the rotation and scale enabled. That's the case. And yeah, we can Okay, so then what we need to do next is we need to map our head to our armature. So this is why I just select the head first. Shift, select armature, and then Control P. You could also go here, Object, Parent, and here we select Bone. Oop. So make parent type bone. That's done. So now we basically mapped the bone to the head. Alright. So next we can take a look at how it actually affected that. So we go into the pose mode, select here the bone, top of it, press R for example for rotating, and then you see head just moves with the bone as it's supposed to be. So that's fine. That's alright. That's the first thing we need to consider. That's fine. Okay, so what's next? So we mapped the bone to the head. So now we need to actually make the animation first, because before we go ahead with stuff. So I guess we start first with the Gload data ref. So what we need to do first is we just make the animation first, and then we map it later to the keyframes for Xplane. So let's go ahead. So we're in pose mode already. So we're here in the first frame. So we just go ahead and rotate the head a bit back though to start it off. Select this one, rotate, just rotate it a bit back. Maybe not too much, because then it's maybe looking a bit weird. So there's about 10 degrees. Alright, now we hit I for our keyframe. And I think we just go with lock and rotation. We could also say rotations such, but yeah, we just maybe go with lock rot just in case, even though we only have a rotation. Okay, that's the first frame set, and you see here is the yellow marker. So then let's go to the 10th frame, and we go ahead again and rotate, and we go also 20 degrees, something, just a bit. Oh, sorry, that was wrong though. One here, and about 20 maybe, and hit I again for the frame. Whoop! Now we got two yellow markers here. Frame 1 and frame 2. Alright, so what we need to do now, we still have the armature selected. We go to the bone tab here, and we add the data ref now. So here we go, path. Just paste the one that I need for the Gload. So the axle, AX. There it is. Lock rot, as we did for the animation, for the keyframe. So we're in the first frame. So we go with a value. Now you have to take care that you insert right values. And for the Gload, it's I just figured it out in the data ref plugin. Xplane, you can take a look at data refs, what their value is and stuff. So for this one here, it's 0.35 as a max, more or less. That's a good value. And then you hit the keyframe button. Whoop. You go to the next one. And then minus 0.35. Frame button again. Now, when we go back, you see that the value increases and decreases from one frame to the other. So that's working, that's fine. So we made the assignment to the keyframes. Sure that everything's fine. Okay, so then that was the first data ref. So once we want to do some more animations, not related to the, let's say, deload, but a separate one for the nose wheel tiller, for the head turn, then we can do the following. We just go to the next frames. So let's say we start at frame 20. Then I'll just rotate back at the, let's say, starting position. So I hit I again for the keyframe. And from this position, top view, from this position now, so I'm at frame 20 now, I rotate that axis first to the, whoops, first to the left, I don't know, 3 degrees, be about fine, 40 degrees, hit I again, and then we move on to frame 30. There also with some text, so that's okay. Press I, rot, and we have the head turning animation covered with those two, right? So we can separate both data refs from the animation. Okay, so let's go back here to frame 20. I'll add the data ref that's applicable for a head turn. So that's, let's see, where's that? I think it was this one here. Paste it in here, select 0, 1, and then we go ahead and say -40. It's the left head turn, so that's negative. And hit the keyframe again. Whoop. And I go to the right head turn here, and we go here with 40 and hit the keyframe again. So now we have, you see, we have a decreasing value here for the head turn between frame 20 and frame 30. Once we go back here, we have the G load from frame 1 to frame. See how it turns, how it moves. That's how it is. And that's actually all. So we can save it now. In addition, of course, you have to take care that you have your stuff set up, your scene for export. And you see here, Xplane version. Yeah, it's 10.5. Also compatible with 11. So yeah, set your output name, your texture. And yeah, that's layer 1. It's just a basic example, but yeah, that's how it works. We save it. Last step is then to export the whole stuff. There's an OBJ here in the export menu. Yeah, and then we just export it. And we can load up Plane Maker in a bit. It's done. So now it's done. So let's start the Plane Maker. A quick Plane Maker. And then we can load the whole object in, assign it to the plane that we want to use, because I want to place the Eugene in the plane, in the cockpit, and just put him in the co-pilot seat. Okay, so what I did, I turned on here the animations. So just add now Eugene I already did, right? But as I changed, I did a new export, I just add him again. Open the object. Once I zoom in, see that he's there. This animation, we can already see that it's working with head turn and yeah, the G-load. Basically, we see it's working. So we save it all. Yeah, now we can start Xplane and take a look at that in Xplane. We start Xplane now. Alright, I think that's better. Alright, so here we go. There's the head turning. Seems good for the man. We can also see it here if we go into the outside view. But once we just give it a bit more throttle here. Alright, that was maybe a bit loud. Once we start here, start rolling, I give the Eugene here control. See how the head turns once I turn the plane. See it? Here, we can even see it in the cockpit though. Once I turn the plane right now, see how the head is moving? Great. That's really good. That's working though. Alright, so let's now test the G-load. For the man. Alright, so let's get some flaps in here. Some test takeoff. You see the head was already a little bit bumping. Percent. Oh, I guess it's working. So I bring back the speed and you see the throttle, how the freaking G-load affects the Eugene.
Sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate,
It's
sync
alright.
rate.
Great, whatever.
Sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate, sync rate. Sync rate, 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 sync rate.
300.
Sync rate, 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 sync rate,
20, 10.